Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskey, and yeehaw, we're in Texas. So, Republic Whiskey, barreled and bottled, Austin, Texas, 40%, 750 milliliters. John Knoll, born 1943. Actually, it says here since 1943, and I hate this. It kind of has that little bit of the feeling as if this whiskey had been around since 1943. He wrote, and this is not a great slogan here, "After sunrise and a hard day's work, three of us were sitting around a campfire at the ranch. We cracked open the very first bottle of Republic whiskey, and after about an hour, we had drunk from Dalhart to El Paso. Along about midnight, we had drunk all the way up to Austin. I looked at my compandries, I can't say that word correctly, and said, 'Hell, boys, let's go all the way to Brownsville. Viva Republic.'" Now, that almost sounds like he says, let's get drunk, let's get smashed. I don't know. So it says here, the taste stands alone, and this is a gimmick whiskey. So gimmick whiskey just basically means you buy it because of the bottle. It's a gimmick. Now, I just opened this up. Let's see here. I've tried to learn how to pour this. If you pour it in this way, it actually almost works without spilling that much. If you pour this way, it's a very, very thick bottle, by the way. It doesn't work. Cool, very, very cool bottle. My wife went, wow. I sent it to my father. He lives in north of Dallas, Texas, and he was like, "Where did you get that from?" And I said, well, it's a long story. Someone brought it in their luggage from Texas to England, put it in an auction site. I bought it in England. I had it sent to me here in northern Germany, and now I have it. And so there's basically no information online where the juice originally comes from. Many people do know Republic Tequila. There's 3 different brands of that, and this is actually the same guy who started that, Tom Knoll. And he had a company called, or he has a company called Texacello. And Texacello was acquired 2018 by the Dripping Springs Distillery. So barreled and bottled in Austin. So I guess somehow they put the liquid in a barrel and they actually bottled it, even though we don't know where it came from. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare it to Yellow Rose from Houston, Texas, which is not that far away. This is a premium American whiskey. I actually have batch number from 2017, batch number 1, and I have the bottle 493, and this is also a 80 proof bottle. So let's just put this over here so you can take a look at this. So I actually have the possibility to compare the two of them. Now, as I said, I think it cost $29.95 or something like that in the States for this, and I paid 25 euros for that online, and then I had to pay another $10 shipping and handling to get it over here in Germany in a package with a few other things. But it was well worth it. I actually have a Facebook group called Bourbon Lovers Germany, and we're going to do a bottle share of this. And so I'd like to just compare the Yellow Rose from Houston with the Republic of Whiskey from Texas. I'm not even going to touch the word Republic, Texas. There's a whole lot of people with a whole lot of different opinions about what that means, and I'm not even going to go there. Now, the Yellow Rose is a lot more like, and that may be a subliminal connection, like a Four Roses. Very, very sweet. The Republic is much darker. There's more tobacco. There's more pecan. This is actually a fairly good whiskey, I must admit. It actually has a little bit of a reminiscence of a double oaked from Jim Beam more than anything else. Wow. I did compare the two of these in my German video. It's way too sweet. So the problem was with a wall of whiskey, you have to kind of look and find things. So I'm just going to actually get rid of this one little Yellow Rose. And since I mentioned it, I think it's only fair to actually compare it to that and have a good comparison. All right, so we have the Jim Beam Double Oaked. And I'm just going to pour a little bit. And see what happens here, if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Probably wrong, as we all know. WhiskyJason here, still learning. So the double oaked. Okay, give it a moment. You're getting closer. You're getting closer. I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but let's try this here. Well, let's try this first of all. I'm sorry. It's actually a fairly decent bourbon. I originally expected something terrible. I mean, really, really bottom of the barrel type of cheap stuff, and it's not. It's actually a very, very good bourbon. The question is, where does it come from? It's got the sweetness. It's got a little bit of pecan. It even has a little bit of tobacco leaves in there. I'm really, really thinking about where that actually could have come from. Let's try the Jim Beam Double Oaked. Much closer than the Yellow Roses. Not quite there, but fairly close. I'm not going to go any further and try, but a comparable. If you like the Double Oak from Jim Beam, you're going to like the Republic of Texas bottled and barreled in Austin. Not bad. Even a tiny little bit better. Wow, I must admit, I'm very impressed. I'm going to give this a B plus, B minus, I'm sorry. Be careful, B minus. Value for money. If you can pick it up in Texas for $29, why not? First of all, you get this fabulous bottle, and I'm sure everyone in Texas wants a bottle like this because everyone in Texas is proud of their state. Don't mess with Texas, and you have to have at least one of these bottles someplace in there, in your office, in your study, in your living room, in the kitchen, someplace like that. This is one of these must-have items if you're in Texas. And second of all, the content is actually not that bad. So for those of you that know a little bit about the history of bourbon, you might remember that in the 70s and the 80s, Jim Beam basically was kept alive by using their decanters. Every university had a decanter, and there were bells, and there were statues, and there were boys, and there were fire trucks, and there were all these decanters that they put the whiskey in. Almost all the whiskey from those decanters today is just rubbish because the porcelain from that decanter is not as airtight as a bottle, and it just basically all evaporated and turned sour and wasn't really, really good. But the idea of having bottles that look like a special area, and especially because Texas is proud of its borders, is a nice idea. Well, I know you couldn't. You see here the Texas stops here, right? Because you have to have a flat surface to put it on. But you actually have the Texas here around the edges. A very, very nice idea. If, Tom Null, that was your idea, congratulations. Good job. I'm sure it costs a pretty penny to make these bottles, and therefore I highly recommend it just as a gimmick. Give it as a present to someone. Why not? Especially if they're from Texas or they love Texas. This is something they like. And of course, you have the Lone Star at the top, what you should have as well. So, WhiskyJason here, tasting rare and exotic whiskey. Imagine this. An American in Germany tasting a Texas whiskey. And I haven't found anyone else online doing it yet. Isn't that amazing? The world really is just a village, isn't it sometimes? Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and also my videos come out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Question of the day. What is your favorite Texan whiskey? I'm sure a few of my friends are going to say Garrison Brothers. Others are going to say Balcones. I personally like... once again, I don't have the bottle here. From Firestone and Robertson from Fort Worth, their Texas TX blended whiskey, a very, very nice thing that I've had recently. What's your favorite Texan whiskey? Write it down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.